Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you'll be listening to a hypnosis session that is less about making a change and more about helping you to figure out what is the change you would like to make. And I'm a big believer in being discerning. And sometimes I find it interesting that people are willing to be very discerning about the clothes they buy or a car they will shop for, but at the same time be less discerning about their habits or their choices, or perhaps even what they're willing to tolerate in their life that really affects how they feel. And this hypnosis session uses a metaphor of a magic wand. And the reason it's a useful metaphor is that it helps people to skip the part that normally blocks a change. And sometimes there is almost a reluctant acceptance that things can't change. In psychology, we call it learned helplessness. That perhaps because something hasn't changed for so long, it's not possible to change. So the magic wand metaphor skips that part and says, okay, change might not be possible, but if it was possible and you could only make a single change in your life, what would have the biggest, most positive impact on your life? And by narrowing it down to a single change, what it does is it starts opening the mind to the possibility that change would be beneficial, that it would be useful. But also, once you go down the start of that sequence of saying, actually, if I was more disciplined, or if I was more confident, or if I was more healthy, or if I could finally stop that addiction, or finally respect myself and have clear boundaries in my life, then it would have a dramatic positive difference to the individual that came up with that intuitive thought. One of the key things that sometimes I encounter when I meet people in real life, and I explain that I'm a hypnotherapist, they jump to the conclusion that it's all about helping people quit smoking or helping them stop a particular habit that they have. Whereas the most profound impact that I've ever had with clients is less about dealing with these kind of expected changes, and it's where they've had some kind of insight that perhaps that traumatic thing that happened in their childhood is still affecting them today, or that their weight loss might not be about food, it might be more about emotions. And when a client comes to me and they've already done half the work to figure out what the problem is, even if they don't know the solution, they're already halfway to making that change, because clarity of the problem is such an important stepping stone to the solution. So there's two parts to this hypnosis session. One is exploring what would be the most beneficial change you can make right now. And secondly is a post-hypnotic suggestion that once you identify the most beneficial change you can make, you're going to start to notice resources that can help you make that change. And this is really designed for people that have a deep sense that something isn't quite right in their life, but they're not sure what it is. And if that sounds like you, then you might benefit from this session. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a wonderful feeling of calm relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And with your eyes closed, you're able to focus on the sound of my voice. As you listen to the words, allow your mind to convert words into meanings, meanings into emotions, and emotions into insight, creating the ability for your intuition to identify powerful, useful changes that you would like to make in your life. The nature of life is that it can feel overwhelming, that there are too many things to do, to change, too many goals to achieve. And sometimes it's useful to focus on just one thing. That one thing that if a change was made would have a ripple effect throughout your life to enable less unuseful emotions and frustrations, and to cultivate and activate wonderful feelings that could lead to a chain reaction of an improved life. As you breathe in and breathe out, just notice that it's okay to release tension. But sometimes to release tension, you need to identify where the tension is. So I want you to increase tension in your body. Clench your fists, clench your jaw. Make all the muscles tense in your body just for a few seconds. And as you release that tension, notice how much more relaxed your body is now than it was before. Because sometimes you need to direct your attention to an area where you can see the difference. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine as your body becomes more relaxed, that your mind becomes more imaginative. And I want you to imagine what you would do if you discovered a magic wand. And this magic wand enables you to make a single change in your life. Just one change. What do you use this magic wand to change in your life? I want you to get a sense that you would spend a lot of time thinking about the change before making the change if you could only make one change. If immediately you just use that magic wand to decide to lose weight instantly, you may lose the weight, but all of those habits and all of those ways of thinking may mean that in 3 months or 6 months' time, you're back at the same weight, but now you've lost the power of that magic wand. Or maybe you would use that magic wand to wish that you had $1 million extra in your bank account. But if you tend to spend more than you earn, if you use shopping or gambling as a way to deal with challenging emotions, maybe in the future you're back there with insufficient funds in your bank account. And I want you to acknowledge the possibility that we have a desire to change the outcomes. But sometimes it's useful to change the cause of those outcomes. And I wonder if maybe you would use that magic wand to make a change that leads to a feeling of empowerment and control, so you don't go back to where you were before. I want you to open your mind to different areas in your life where you could make a change. And perhaps, as you let your mind drift, your intuition is already revealing the areas of your life where you feel dissatisfaction or discomfort. Perhaps you can imagine a door, and behind that door lies the hidden knowledge of the problems and challenges you face. And I want you to think about what might be on the other side of that door. And maybe you can think about the situations or experiences that trigger intense emotions. Allow your subconscious to reveal the origins and triggers of these emotions, or to just accept that you don't want to keep on experiencing them anymore. I want you to imagine looking at your body in a full-length mirror. As you observe your current state of health and well-being, and I wonder, what are those issues you're already aware of? The causes of discomfort, the things that require attention. And maybe there's things that cause that. Maybe it's choices, or maybe something entirely outside of your control. And as you look into that full-length mirror, consider your weight and your body image, and bring into focus any concerns or negative feelings you have about your physical appearance. Because sometimes the best change you can make is to accept that a change isn't possible. When you have self-acceptance, that change is no longer needed as you accept and embrace who you are. And what are the areas in your life that make you feel anxious? As you feel relaxed and comfortable, think of those moments that trigger a very different version of you. Or maybe the areas in your life where you feel self-doubt and insecurities. Is it when you're around people that are younger, more successful, or seem further along in their life and their career? And what if these are all insight to enable you to make the biggest and most powerful positive change in your life? It's not uncommon for people to suppress their insecurities, the causes of shame or embarrassment, to suppress anger, rage, or jealousy. And sometimes addictive behaviors are just the unconscious mind's desperate attempt to suppress a traumatic event or distract temporarily from intrusive thoughts or complex emotions. And maybe there's habits or addictions that feel like they have a hold on you. And maybe your magic wand could be used to change not the addiction, but the cause of the addiction, so it doesn't come back in a new, different way. Maybe you can imagine your ideal financial circumstances and what stops you from achieving those. Do you self-sabotage your ability to progress and grow and become what you're capable of becoming? Or maybe it's worth exploring those areas of your life that once you were enthusiastic and excited about, but now feel like you're stagnant, stuck, or not making progress. And as you think about your daily routines and habits, which ones are harming you? Which ones are taking more than they're giving? As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to acknowledge the idea that you don't have to change everything. But if you were to change one thing, what would have the single biggest positive impact on your life? Would it be in your work life, your relationships, your sleep, your diet, your overall health and well-being? And in this relaxed state, think back to that door, the cause of a problem, an issue you'd like to resolve. Allow your intuition to guide you to the most beneficial change as possible for you to make. And perhaps you can imagine a future life without this problem anymore. Maybe it's been taking your time, your energy, your emotions. Maybe it's cost you financially, physically, emotionally. But think of a future version of you where you don't have that issue, that problem anymore. Maybe you've been struggling for years, but imagine a future where you're not struggling anymore. And maybe your intuition has already told you the biggest change to make. But if it hasn't, accept the suggestion that your intuition will be working behind the scenes to reveal it to you in the next few days. Maybe you'll have an epiphany, a moment of inspiration, a eureka moment where it becomes so obvious as to what change it would be beneficial for you to make. And once you identify the change you want to make, don't be surprised if you start seeing solutions all around you. They were always there, but they've been invisible, and they will remain invisible until the point you decide what change you would like to make. Breathe in and breathe out, and return to the present. But take the idea that just one change could transform your life in a positive way. And some people believe that if your intuition reveals a change to make, it simultaneously provides you with the resources required to make that change. So as you breathe in and breathe out, feel like you're returning to the present, feeling excited about a change in your near future. That there is a new future just waiting for you, and you're looking forward to experiencing it. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, feel connected with your body, fully in the present, as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, optimistic, with an element of clarity, either now or in the near future, as to that single change you would most like to make. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.